We recognize that the Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist Society gathers on the land of the Western Abenaki people. We respect their spiritual relationship to the land. We hope to learn from them how we can live together in peace and justice.
Good morning, and welcome to CVUUS, the Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist online Sunday service. My name is Becky Strum. I'm a member of this congregation, and this morning I'll be serving as worship associate for the Reverend Barnaby Feeder, our settled minister. I am especially grateful for the opportunity to be with you, if only virtually, today, after the events, both hopeful and terribly troubling, of this past week. I'm feeling a connection with you as we gather today and search for meaning. If this is your first time being with us online at CVUUS, please email us so that we can share more about our society. If you have a milestone or passage to share, put it in the chat if you have not already sent it to us. And please stay for conversation after the service at our virtual coffee hour. And this week will be a regular virtual coffee hour. The congregational conversation will be next Sunday. If you're on Zoom, stay where you are for the coffee hour and you'll be given a breakout room. If you're on YouTube, watch for instructions to join the Zoom. So I really feel that the best way these days to stay in touch with all of the many activities going on at CVUUS, even in these socially distant times, is to read the weekly email blast. That's why, if you are new, please let us know so that we can send you one. See our website or the January newsletter for information on several small group ministries and 2 new adult RE options: Exploring Prayer with Reverend Barnaby, and this group will reference the Reverend Kate Braystrup's book, Beginner's Guide, Bringing Prayer into Your Life. And please contact Reverend Barnaby to sign up. The Breathe book group that's being led by Jean Terwilliger and Mike Greenwood. This is the UUA Common Read by Imani Perry. If you are interested in this group, let Mike know. And this group is going to be meeting on the 4th, not the 3rd Wednesday of the month, as was incorrectly stated in the January newsletter. Today's call to worship is from Dreaming the Dark, Magic, Sex, and Politics by Starhawk. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been. A place half remembered and half envisioned, we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing. A circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. Now is the time to light our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. You should see the video of Reverend Barnaby lighting the chalice in our sanctuary as it appeared all of December. Please join me in reading the words as they scroll down the screen. Flame, friend of our most ancient ancestors, we kindle you now in this time. Yet, in truth, you burn always in the unique worth of each person, in the imagination, in the turning of the heart to sorrow or joy, in the call to hope and in the call to justice. Burn bright before us, burn bright within us.
Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to seek what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another, and may we walk in peace. Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to seek what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another, and may we walk in peace. Good morning. It's great to see all of you. So when I think about what I want to do every week, when I am doing the Time for All Ages, sometimes I think about what the theme is or what Reverend Barnaby is talking about, or if there's a holiday and I find something that links with that. And my hope is that it will be something of use that speaks to people and that speaks to people of all ages. And sometimes I might feel so many needs that it's hard to even decide what to do. So this was kind of one of those weeks. So what I've decided to share with you this week is something that is a tool that I have found really useful, that I have done with other people, kids and adults, and I'm hoping that it will be of use to all of you. So if you are a parent watching or someone who lives with a child, this is something you can teach to younger people or walk them through. And I mean, actually, any ages can do it. So a partner, you could do this with your partner also. The age really is irrelevant. So this is, I'm going to explain it, and then we're actually all going to do it together as a group. So this is what is called a grounding technique. So grounding means that it's something that literally lets you be aware of the ground. It helps you feel where you are right now. And we use them when we are feeling stressed out or anxious, or we're thinking, and the thoughts are spinning, and we're just feeling really frazzled and rattled and not good, basically overwhelmed maybe. So grounding is something you can do that helps you slow all of that down and just come into the moment right now, right? Right now I am okay. Right now I am safe. Right now I'm sitting in this room, on this chair, in my body, and things are fine. So that's what it's for, right? Is to help you calm down and come into the present moment of relaxing. It can help breathing. It slows breathing down. It can slow your heart rate down. And I found it to be really helpful. So I'm going to explain how it works, and then we'll all do it. So it's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the idea is that for each number, you're actually looking around or feeling or noticing or seeing or smelling something that goes with that number, and you're saying it out loud. Why do we say it out loud? Because when you say something out loud, it changes something in your brain. If you just think it in your mind and it's silent, it is not as powerful as actually saying it out loud. That's why it's easier to remember stuff if you say it out loud. So the way it will work is we will start with 5 things you see. And so I'm literally going to look around, and it's quick. I'm just going to look around and I'm going to say 5 things I see, and I'm going to actually say I see. So I'll say, I see my lamp. I see my red water bottle. I see the piece of paper in front of me. I see my pencil. I see my hand. Just like that. 4, and you don't need to remember any of this because I'm about to take you through it in a much slower, nicer pace. 4 is what I feel. And that doesn't mean emotions. So it's not saying I feel anxious. It's saying, what do I actually feel on my body, against my body? So I feel my foot on the floor. I feel the desk under my hand. I feel my foot that I'm sitting on. I feel my elbow against my hip, like that. 3 is 3 things you hear. You have to get really quiet for this depending on where you live. So I hear a car outside. I hear my heater making a metal shifting sound. I hear the cat snoring on the bed. If you can't hear 3 things, you can just say a sound as your 3rd thing. It can be anything. I hear a song, whatever. 2 is smell. these get harder as you go on. So you might not be able to smell anything. And again, you can just name 2 smells you like, 2 smells that are strong. You don't want to think about it. It should be quick. So I smell eggs cooking downstairs in the kitchen. And if I couldn't do another one, I would say I smell strawberry ice cream. Last one is taste. I taste toothpaste. Isn't that nice? I brush my teeth for you, even though I'm not even in the room with you. That's how thoughtful I am. And if you can't taste anything in that moment, again, just say a taste that is strong or something you had for breakfast. So that's what we're going to do. And now we're going to do it all together. I hope you will join me in actually trying this out. And I'm going to bring up a picture to just remind you of how to do this. So hold on a second. Share my screen. Okay. Can folks see that? Yes. Okay. So, right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is what we're doing. And if I were doing this with someone, I would say, what are 5 things you see? What are 4 things you hear? So I'm going to do it with you like I'm really doing it. Okay, so we start with, I invite you to join me in just a nice, deep belly breath. So your stomach goes out as you breathe in. Nice, deep breath. Okay, here we go. And remember to say it out loud. Whoops, please work. Whoop. All right, hold on a second. This is what happens when I try to get fancy and do PowerPoints. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay. Why? Why is it not going back? Sorry, folks. Okay, well, we're going to start at the other one and then we'll go back. So much for my fancy slides. Okay, so pretend you can't see this slide for a second and say out loud 5 things you can see. I see my chapstick. I see the cranium game. I see my microphone. I see a staple. I see a gray truck. Then we're at 4 things you can feel with your body. I feel my hand on my leg. I feel my shirt against my neck. I feel my very soft leggings. I feel the back of my chair. And now we're at 3 on your screen. 3 things you can hear. I hear my heater. I hear my chair creaking. I hear my cat. 2 things you can smell or a smell. And you can even smell like your wrist or your shirt if that helps you. So I can smell my laundry detergent. I can smell my lotion. 1 thing you can taste. I can taste toothpaste. So, sorry about the clunkiness. So that's how it works. And here's my invitation for this week. The whole key to having something that helps you when you're stressed out is that you've practiced it when you're not stressed out. So that when you are stressed out, you can just do it. Or someone can help you. You don't want to be trying to learn it when you're stressed out. That's hard. So my invitation is for this whole next week, for 7 days, every day, just do this. It's a nice meditative thing to do. So every day when you wake up, do it, or at dinner time, do it. Just have a time of the day when you do it. Set your phone with a reminder. Your whole family could do it at dinner if you're trying to teach it to everybody in your family. So you all go through 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every day for a week, so that then you know how to do it, right? And then when something kicks in for you and you're feeling stressed, or someone near you is feeling stressed, you can say, okay, let's do counting down. What are 5 things you see? And they know what you're talking about. So that's my time for all ages today. There was just so much that went on this week. That's what I ended up with. And I have found this to be a really helpful tool, and I hope you will also. And I'd love to hear from people if any of you use it and find it useful. So, my darlings, peace and love to all of you. I hope this new year brings us all joy. It will eventually. And love to all of you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Poppy. Because Michelle got up this morning, decided to make pancakes, I have maple syrup taste in my mouth. And it's the perfect way to go into talking about the sweetness of our offering, our chance to share with others. We're working to support the values that we support in our congregation. And our offering is shared this month with 350.org, the national environmental group that was founded right here in Middlebury by Bill McKibben and some Middlebury College students. 350.org is focused on many aspects of speeding our transition away from fossil fuels. And ironically, today is the anniversary of the 1901 Spindletop gusher in Texas that kicked off the oil boom that we're now trying to recover from. So I invite you to be as generous as you can in sharing our offering with 350.org. And I want to lead you into this moment of silence and meditation with a short excerpt of a poem Rainer Maria Rilke wrote to God, as translated from the original German by Anita Barrows and Joanna Macy. Each mind fabricates itself. We sense its limits, for we have made them. And just when we would flee them, you come and make of yourself an offering. I don't want to think a place for you. Speak to me from everywhere. Your gospel can be comprehended without looking for its source. When I go toward you, it is with my whole life.
yonder still the world shall witness, never known in days of old, never dreamed by ancient sages, howsoever free and bold, sons and daughters shall inherit wondrous thoughts to us unknown, when the dawn of peace its splendor over all the world has thrown. They shall rule with winged freedom, worlds of health and human good, worlds of commerce, worlds of science, all made one and understood. They shall know a world transfigured, which our eyes but dimly see. They shall make its towns and woodlands beautiful from sea to sea. For a spirit then shall move them, we but vaguely apprehend, aims magnificent and holy, making joy and neighbor friend. Then shall bloom in song and fragrance, harmony of thought and deed, fruits of peace and love and justice, where today we plant the seed.
I want to thank our guest accompanist, Ronnie Romano, for creating the video you just heard of Wonders Still the World Shall Witness. It's a good candidate for the most optimistic song in our hymnal. May the future bring us more days when we can fully share in that optimism. Fortunately, over the next couple months, we will be sharing in Ronnie's talents because he's agreed to help us out while Chuck is in Florida and on days when Kate is unavailable. And we look forward to having him with us, at least on video. His regular Sunday job is playing for a small Methodist congregation in Ticonderoga live. Meanwhile, what a week. I hope many of you saw my weekend briefing emailed Friday that addressed some of Wednesday's sad and infuriating events in Washington. I'll talk more about what I think this means for us as CVUUS next Sunday, as I look forward to the Biden-Harris inauguration on January 20th, whatever form that takes. I'm thinking of actually doing my sermon as the inauguration speech I hope Joe Biden delivers. And if any of you have ideas about what should be in that, please send them to me this week. I was thinking in the middle of all of this and the worsening pandemic news about our theme for this month, the question of what our neighbors need from us. I was also aware it had been nearly a month since my walk with Pan, in which I encountered the famous Rockefeller Center Christmas tree owl. I kept returning to the delightful but shocking discovery this tiny saw-whet owl, among the smallest owl species in the world, could speak to me in perfect, intelligible, and surprisingly intelligent English. She had promised we would see each other again with no indication of when. Was she a neighbor now, the most unique neighbor ever, or just a passing thought? This week made me impatient to see her again. I reported our first conversation faithfully to you, but in case you weren't with us that Sunday, let me remind you of how we left things. She despised the name Rockefeller, which she had been given when she was rescued from the giant Christmas tree before it was erected at the Rockefeller Center skating center rink in late November. She was annoyed that her rescues presumed she was a male. Nor was she fond of Rocky, the nickname that replaced Rockefeller during her recuperation at the Ravensbeard Wildlife Center in Saugerties, New York. That's where her true sex was discovered before she was released back into the wild. So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised when the first thing I heard out of her when she reappeared in my life during my midday walk with Penn on Friday was a voice from an evergreen thicket saying,
"Who do you think I am?"
"Having fun with some Bible quotes, are we? Well, I'm pretty sure you're not Jesus, since you don't like male human names. Anyway, I would rather you don't talk to me as if I'm a disciple. I'm still not sure whether you are anything other than a figment of my imagination, but I want to feel more like a trusted neighbor or friend or comrade or even kin in the largest sense of the word. Some religious folks speak of all living things as part of the kingdom of God, rather than the kingdom referred to in the Bible."
Well, that's part of why I need to settle on a name for me. I've noticed you humans prefer to have individual names for all beings you care about. But I've discovered we saw-whet owls don't really have a gift for names. So I hope you can help.
I have to confess, I have been thinking about your name. I guess that's a telltale sign. I suspect you are more than a figment of my imagination. Even if it's all mysterious to me, somehow I think you spring from the God of love with a capital L that's emerging from humanity in this time of need. As for your name, I thought of photon because you can move rapidly and you bring light into my life. And I thought of slant because Emily Dickinson, a poet I really like, wrote a poem that said, "Tell the truth, but tell it at a slant." And then there's the obvious names like Minerva and Athena. They were the ancient Roman and Greek goddesses who were often accompanied, when depicted in images or stories, by a small owl like you.
Goddesses. I like that. Goddesses of what?
Well, wisdom and reasoning and intelligence. Unfortunately, these attributes were closely associated with smart battle tactics, and so both were also war goddesses. And both were always depicted as fairly big and muscular. Armor and helmets were their idea of high fashion.
I weigh 4 ounces when I'm wet. It's one of the reasons Pan makes me nervous, and I only come to you when I can be downwind and hidden.
Yeah, but he's going to quickly get bored with me talking to a bush. His nose is going to lead him away from us. He'll make sure that he stays close enough to hear me call, but I don't think he's going to be a problem.
Sounds good. Now back to my name. You and I are both interested in the power of love as a lifesaver and life as a love builder. What about a name that fits that? I read that the Greeks have 7 different words for love.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that you can really read. Well, agape, which is love for everyone and everything, is an admirable definition of love, but it's not quite as endearing as you are. Philia is intimate and it's deep friendship. It's not meant to really be erotic.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going with philia. 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 Philia!
Why are you yelling?
I don't know. I have a feeling we saw-whets live so far apart from each other that it's the only way we find mates. Not that I want one right now. I'm too young. But I have a feeling things will be different in April. And I have a strong premonition there's going to be nothing erotic about it.
Well, I don't know. I read there's some allopreening involved, playing with each other's feathers.
That could get old fast. It would be much more useful to have an owl partner who is a great hunter. I feel intimate with food. Who knows? Maybe some of that would spill over on my being that gave me a deer mouse or two. But I'm not surprised you know about allopreening. From what I've been reading, you humans are totally obsessed with erotic love, which you often boil down to sex, whatever that is. When I was thinking about getting a name, I came across an article in Forbes magazine called The Future of Intimacy, Sex Bots, Virtual Reality, and Smart Sex Toys. What is this Forbes magazine?
It's a leading business magazine named after a wealthy publisher. I'm sure the article was about how many billions of dollars people are already selling these things for and how rapidly they expect the business to grow. It's a good bet the products will get smarter and, in more and more cases, so lifelike that people can't help but respond to them as if they were alive.
It's hard to believe anyone would fall for a machine.
Have you been paying any attention to what people have been falling for on the internet or in Washington just in the short time you've been alive? Falling for destructive nonsense is very popular at the moment. This technology has a very low bar to clear in captivating many of us. Each year, we'll endow our machines and virtual reality devices with more equipment designed specifically to trigger human emotional and physical reactions. For instance, sex robots are increasingly being covered by materials that feel more and more like skin with underlying fat and muscle. And the programs get more human too. Some female bots are already programmed to withdraw their, quote, consent, unquote, for sexual relations and go rigid if they sense they are being mistreated.
I don't get it. Why is this trend attracting people when they have more people than ever to choose from?
It's for the usual mixture of good and bad reasons, I believe. In theory, this technology could be immensely helpful to people who are isolated or unsafe or suicidal in their current relationships. Unlike owls, most of us desperately need to be around each other to be happy. All five of our senses become thoroughly engaged as our sexual activity progresses from proximity to eye contact to hugs and, well, so on. The new technology is, from what I've read, a long way from providing a comparable experience to true human sexuality, but the gap is closing at a rate that is unnerving for many of us who think about what could go wrong.
Because it raises questions about what it means to be human?
Yes, sexuality is deeply connected with how we learn about intimacy. Through it, we can learn a lot about who we belong to socially, emotionally, and even spiritually.
So, sex is a big deal in your church, and you talk about this a lot.
Well, yes and no. We talk about it with our children. Strange as it seems talking to you this morning, we have a lot of what we call OWL programs that talk about sexuality and related topics for different age groups of children. OWL at church stands for Our Whole Lives. Unitarian Universalists recognize that human attitudes about sex are naturally diverse, subject to change and growth, and crucial to our ability to have healthy relationships. We want our sexuality to be nurtured in ways where everyone feels respected and encouraged to explore what makes them feel good in ways that don't harm others throughout their lives. But we hardly ever continue the OWL programs into our adult groups.
Because,
well, we're often insecure about our sexual attitudes and practices and afraid of being judged negatively. But I think it's also because privacy contributes to intimacy between those who are not sharing details of their relationship publicly. And intimacy is something we all need. There are probably other reasons too. But the bottom line is adults are often reluctant to share details about their personal sexuality with friends, neighbors, and even family members. And adults are often reluctant to hear and respond to such sharing by others.
Or just not interested? Maybe you all have some Sawet in you. But let's go back to where you said there is a spiritual side to sex. I am very spiritual, as owls go.
Sex is a spiritual practice when it's intimate, vulnerable, and not about power over another person. When the intimacy gets beyond the capacity of words to fully express, then it touches on the mystery of life and our personal love's connection to love with a capital L. That's why the extremely sexual Song of Songs has its place in the Hebrew Bible.
Ooh, isn't that the part where there's a woman saying things to her lover like, "Come away, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or like a young stag on the spice-laden mountains"?
Yeah, and he's saying things like, "How beautiful you are, and how pleasing, my love, with your delights. Your stature is like that of the palm, and your breasts like clusters of fruit. I will climb the palm tree, I will take hold of its fruit. May your breasts be like clusters of grapes on the vine, the fragrance of your breath like apples, and your mouth like the best wine."
I'm not sure. I'm sure that's not the way Jesus talks to his disciples or anyone else.
Yeah, but it's all in the same Bible. And Jesus may be the ultimate proof of our spiritual need for intimacy. I've often wondered, why does the Jewish sect that becomes Christianity succeed where so many other breakaway groups fail? I think it's partly because the Christian story is one of the Jewish God becoming as intimate with humans as people of that time could conceive. He comes to earth in the form of a baby that would grow to share in human suffering, thus promising divine empathy, the most powerful wellspring of intimacy, in the deepest possible way.
Oh dear, hold that thought. I think I see Pan. Can I appeal to your sense of empathy and ask you to walk toward Pan as he's headed this way and getting too close for my comfort? I'll be back before mating season if I have any say over it. You can help me figure out what my pronouns are next time.
Okay, I'll do that.
Don't forget to say great dog, not good dog, when you get to Pan. And leave one of his treats for me right there on the edge of the thicket. It will make me feel very close to you.
Of course. As Poppy said in The Time for All Ages, the last step to feeling grounded in tough times is naming one thing you can taste, then taking a deep breath. Amen.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made
yes to love. By way of benediction, thinking about what our neighbors need from us, I think they need us to cooperate in creating a world where intimacy is cherished and safe, knowing that there are always more opportunities for it than we ever get to pursue in our own single lives. May we go forth to do the work of building that kind of world. Blessed be and amen.